I mean, I thought it was a superb win. It was a typical. I know, obviously, Coughlan's no longer there after what's happened, but I thought that it was really a typical Coughlan performance in a way. In possession, not great. A lot of loose passes at times, particularly in the first half. But out of possession, I think that sort of resilience, dogged defending, the last-ditch blocks, all what Keith was just saying to you, really. That's the sort of stuff that's got us to fourth in League One, and that came through again tonight. That's what kept us in the game when Plymouth were on top for large spells, and obviously we managed to nick what was a bit of a fortuitous goal, I guess, at the other end. And this team just has a way of winning games no matter how they've played in them, really, which is a great quality to have. So, yeah.
Ollie, you have produced a podcast, of course, GasCast's, the Bristol Rovers podcast, and
Indeed.
I made a point of listening this morning, the whole hour. I sensed a lot of emotion with you and the guys. Obviously, a lot's gone on. Can you just take a step back from tonight's game and just sum up the feelings of the Bristol Rovers supporters? I sensed a bit of bitterness with the way that, OK, you understood Graham Coughlan perhaps wanting to leave, but you were a bit upset with the way that he handled the situation.
Yeah, 100%. I think I probably speak for the majority of the fan base when I say that if we take what Coughlan said at face value about him wanting to leave for family reasons, then I don't think any of us have any qualms about whatsoever. You know, we all completely understand that he wants to be closer to his family after being away for so long. But like you've just said, the way he handled it, the way he went about it, sort of in his post-match presser after Ipswich, forcing the club's hand, really, by giving that cryptic interview that he gave. I think that's just left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. I think if it had been done behind closed doors and he had left and then it had come out afterwards that it's due to family reasons and what have you, and then I think everyone would have understood that. But the way he went about it was really poor. But I did listen to Starnes' interview today, our CEO, and he said that Coughlan's apologised to him about how he went about it. So I think, you know, Graham obviously knows that he didn't do it in the best way, but maybe that's how he felt he had to go about it in order to get the move that he obviously wanted. So it's difficult to really know whether he had to do that or not. But yeah, it has left a bad taste in my mouth. But we've just got to move on. I think the fan base in general hasn't really taken to him, if I'm being honest. You know, he's done fantastically well to get us into fourth and obviously save us last season. But the football at most of the time hasn't been great to watch. And the fan base just hasn't ever really warmed him that much. So hopefully we can all now unite behind whoever the new man turns out to be.
Yeah, I'm just looking. Joe Dunn's being interviewed on the television. And in the background, Wael Al-Qadi and Martin Starnes are both here tonight. Bear in mind, you chat to fellow Rover supporters on your podcast. Where is the football club going? Martin Starnes says that the Al-Qadi family are not looking to sell Bristol Rovers. He talked about the budget. There's going to be trading, I think he said. He didn't rule out selling Johnson Clark Harris either. Rovers are fourth. They're in two cup competitions heading into Christmas. Just where are we at with Bristol Rovers, do you think, moving forward?
Yeah, good question. On the selling Johnson Clark Harris thing, I think some fans will feel that as a lack of ambition, considering we are fourth, and you know we probably need our star striker in order to continue this playoff push we've got going. But personally speaking, if a club comes in with a decent bid for him, a couple of million, say, I would completely understand if he went. I think every club really is a selling club, especially a club like ours. So if a decent bid came in, he's got some injury problems. Then as long as a decent amount was given to whoever the manager is at the time to replace him and maybe strengthen the squad in other areas, then we could come out of January looking like a stronger side, I dare to say, overall. But there seems to be absolutely no progress off the pitch, Stan said today, with regards to the stadium and the training ground and what have you. And really, we need those things in order to, if we did manage to get up to the Championship this season, if we're going to be able to sustain ourselves there as a football club in any way, then off-the-field matters have to get moving. And we've not really heard anything on a stadium since Weil came out about the fruit market in the summer. So it's all gone very quiet on that. And obviously their focus now will be on getting a new manager in. So I'm not sure we will hear anything about those Weil yet. But I do think that the Al-Qadis are looking to sell, regardless of what Starnes said today. There's been lots of things in local press over the last few months about various different consortiums being in talks with the Al-Qadis to buy the club. So I would be very surprised if by this time next year the club hasn't changed hands again. But so yeah, I wouldn't take Starn's word on that one, to be honest. I don't think he was going to come out and say that today. So yeah, I think we're just exactly where we have been over the last couple of years as a football club, just going along, making the best of the facilities that we've got, and hopefully the new man that comes in will be happy with the budget he has and the facilities we have, and embrace them like Graham did in his early days, and hopefully sustain this playoff push we've got going.
Well, Ollie, I would say if anyone's got an hour, listen to your latest podcast, GasCast's, the Bristol Rovers podcast. There's even a bit of blue language at one point. I think emotions get the better of you, but we'll forgive you for that.
Never any of that.
Just finally, Ollie, before we let you go, who would you like to see as the manager of Bristol Rovers? Do you give someone like Joe Dunn a chance? It didn't fail with Graham Coughlan, or are you expecting someone from outside the football club to come in?
I'm caught in two minds. Part of me thinks that all we really need someone to come in and do is keep the continuity of what we've done so far, because we're fourth. So, what we've been doing has been working really well. So from that point of view, someone like Hargreaves or maybe Mansell or maybe Joe Dunn, if he doesn't follow Coughlan to Mansfield, which I expect him to be honest. But in that case, maybe someone internal would be best, because they perhaps wouldn't rock the boat as much or try to reinvent the wheel in terms of the tactics and the personnel and what have you. And maybe all we need is someone to come in and keep Coughlan's way of playing going and hope that that sustains us through. But I 100% get the sort of attraction of an external appointment, maybe a bit more exciting one, such as, I don't know, there's loads of names flying about: Holloway, Tisdale, Nathan Jones, etc. Not that I'm sure some of those are realistic, but they would grab more headlines, I guess, and get a few of the fans more excited. But I'd go for Hargreaves, I think, Chris Hargreaves, and just hope that he could keep our way of playing going and not change too much from what Coughlan's doing, because whilst it's not great to watch, it's very effective.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I do appreciate Ollie, and Ollie Neno from GasCast's, the Bristol Rovers podcast. Well worth a listen, and no doubt we'll speak to you soon on BBC Radio Bristol as events keep building. There's lots to talk about at the moment for the blue half of Bristol. Cheers, Ollie.
Very much.
Okay, that's Ollie Neno then from GasCast's, the Bristol Rovers podcast.